Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to say the right thing, but it still didn't land? You meant well, you said nice words, maybe even rehearsed them in your head. But when you spoke, it felt empty, like something was missing. Here's the truth most men don't realize. It's not about saying more, it's about saying what matters. And more importantly, saying it in a way that feels real. See, women are emotionally intuitive. They don't just listen to your words. They read you. They sense your energy, your tone, your timing. They pick up on intention faster than you think. So when a man speaks from a place of truth, not just charm or performance, but authentic appreciation, it cuts deeper than any compliment ever could. That's the difference between you look good and you make everything around you feel warmer. One is surface, the other soul level. In this video, we're diving into 7 simple yet powerful phrases, words most men never say, but every woman longs to hear. Not because they're poetic, but because they're real. If you've ever struggled to connect beyond the surface, if you've ever wondered why your compliments fall flat, or if you simply want to create a bond that lasts longer than just chemistry, then don't go anywhere. What you're about to learn could shift how you communicate, not just with women, but with everyone you care about. This isn't about manipulation, it's about meaning. Let's get into it. You know, we live in a world that praises the loudest voices, the flashiest clothes, the biggest followings. But sometimes, the most powerful people in the room are the ones who don't need to shout. There's a kind of woman who doesn't demand attention, but somehow the energy changes when she walks in. She listens more than she talks. She lifts people without needing credit. And while the world may applaud beauty or status, if you're paying attention, you'll see something far rarer, her influence. And when you look her in the eye and say, "Your influence is remarkable," you're not just giving a compliment. You're holding up a mirror to the part of her most people overlook. Because here's the truth. So many women go through life quietly shaping their families, their friendships, their communities, without ever being fully seen. Their empathy, their intuition, their emotional labor, it often goes unrecognized. And yet they keep showing up. So when you acknowledge that, when you say, "It's not just who you are, it's the way you change the atmosphere around you," I notice that. You're speaking to her soul. It's like telling her, "I see the strength in your softness. I see how people breathe easier when you're near. You make spaces feel safer, lighter." That kind of recognition hits different. Because it's not about her looks. It's not about what she gives you. It's about who she is when no one is clapping. So ask yourself, when was the last time you noticed the impact someone quietly made on you and told them? And if you haven't yet, maybe start with this. Your influence is remarkable. Say it like you mean it. Because when a woman realizes she's truly seen, something beautiful opens between you. Not attraction rooted in performance, but connection rooted in respect. You know what's rare these days? Telling a woman, "I value your mind. We live in a world drowning in surface compliments. You're beautiful. You're hot. I like your smile." Sure, those things are nice, but they're easy. And truth be told, they're forgettable. What's unforgettable is when someone looks past the obvious and sees your thoughts, your insights, your mind at work. When you tell a woman, "I value your perspective and intelligence," you're giving her something the world often forgets to offer: respect for her inner world. Because here's the thing, most women are used to being seen for how they look. But being seen for how they think, that hits on a whole different level. And this isn't about being overly serious, it's not a job interview. It's about genuinely engaging with what she says, asking thoughtful questions, listening, not to reply but to understand. You're saying, "I notice the way your mind connects things. I respect how you see the world, even when we don't fully agree." That's intimacy most people never touch, because real connection starts in the mind, long before it gets to the heart. So next time you're in conversation, try this. Instead of saying, "You look amazing," try, "The way you explained that just gave me a whole new perspective. I never saw it that way before." You'll be amazed how someone opens up when they feel intellectually respected, not just wanted, but heard. Because deep down, every human wants the same thing, to be understood. And when you value her thoughts, you're telling her, "I don't just want you near me. I want to know how you see the world. That's how deeper bonds begin. There's a certain kind of compliment that goes beyond admiration. It doesn't just say, I like you. It says, because of you, I became better. And that right there is the power behind the words, you inspire me. It's one thing to admire someone's beauty, their accomplishments, their confidence. But it's another level entirely to let them know that their presence has moved you, that their drive, their courage, their passion has made you want to rise too. Think about it. When was the last time someone inspired you? Maybe it was how she talked about a dream she's chasing. Maybe it was how she bounced back from heartbreak, or how she kept showing up for others when she was tired herself. And did you tell her? Most people never hear how deeply they affect others. We assume they know, but they don't. They walk through life wondering if their efforts even matter, when in fact they're the quiet spark lighting someone else's fire. So when you say, you inspire me, you're not just giving praise, you're saying you matter to me. The way you live pushes me to live more fully too. It could be a moment, a conversation, a small act of kindness, and suddenly you see yourself differently. You aim higher, think deeper. That's what real inspiration does. It's not just about following someone. It's about evolving because of their example. So the next time a woman lights something up in you, say it. Look her in the eyes and say, you inspire me, because those words, they don't just make her feel appreciated. They remind her that who she is powerful. You ever meet someone, and for some reason you just can't stop thinking about them? It's not about what they wore, it's not even about what they said. It's something deeper, something you can't quite put into words. That's what this phrase captures. You have something special I can't explain. It's a simple sentence, but it opens a door to mystery. It tells her, there's something about you that's rare, and I don't even fully understand it myself. And let me tell you, people crave that feeling, not just to be seen, but to be felt in a way that transcends logic, because we live in a world obsessed with labels, checklists, definitions. But the most meaningful connections, they often defy explanation. When you say this phrase, you're acknowledging something real, that she carries a presence, an energy, a depth that can't be categorized. Maybe it's the way she lights up when she talks about something she loves. Maybe it's how she makes people around her feel calm without even trying. Maybe it's the contradiction in her, soft yet strong, quiet yet impossible to ignore. Whatever it is, you feel it, and more importantly, you honor it. This isn't flattery, it's curiosity, it's intrigue. It's the kind of statement that keeps a woman wondering, what is it he sees in me that others missed? And that's where emotional connection deepens, in the space between the obvious and the unspoken. So when the moment's right, don't be afraid to say it, not as a line, not to impress, but because you genuinely feel it. You have something special, and I can't quite explain it. That mystery, that's what makes her unforgettable. Let's be honest, life can get heavy. There are days when everything feels like too much. The noise, the deadlines, the weight of all the little things we carry that no one else can see. And then there's that one person. She doesn't even have to say anything profound. She just shows up. And somehow the air feels lighter. That's what this phrase is about. Being with you makes my day better. It's not dramatic. It's not poetry. But it's real. And sometimes that's exactly what people need to be reminded that their presence alone is enough to shift someone's day. Because in a world obsessed with doing and proving and achieving, just being is underrated. Yet there's power in presence, in the quiet joy someone brings by simply existing in your space. When you say this phrase, you're not just complimenting her. You're recognizing her impact on your emotional state, on your peace. You're telling her, I notice the way your presence steadies me. I feel lighter when you're here. You make the ordinary feel bearable, and sometimes even beautiful. Think about how often we walk past moments of comfort without naming them. We feel it, but we don't say it. And yet, those are the things that mean the most. Not grand gestures, but quiet consistency. So the next time she's there, sitting next to you on a hard day, laughing with you at nothing in particular, or just holding space with her calm energy, look at her and say it simply, being with you makes my day better. because that small truth, it might be the exact thing she needed to hear all along. Every now and then, someone walks into your life, and they don't just stand out. They shift something inside you. They don't fit into any category. You can't compare them to anyone else. And that's the beauty of it. It's when you realize, I've never met anyone like you. That phrase, it's not just romantic, it's reverent. It says you are rare. You're not just another person passing by. You're one of one. We all want to feel unique, but more than that, we want you to be seen as unique by someone who's paying attention. This isn't about putting someone on a pedestal. It's about acknowledging the combination of little things, her quirks, her strength, her way of seeing the world, that make her irreplaceable in your eyes. Maybe it's the way she notices what everyone else misses. Maybe it's the mix of confidence and vulnerability she carries so effortlessly. Maybe it's how she's the first to laugh at herself and the first to stand up for someone who can't. When you tell her, I've never met anyone like you, you're saying that she's not just special, she's unrepeatable. You're telling her that she doesn't have to try to be like anyone else, because the way she already is enough, more than enough. And when a woman hears that from a place of truth, it sinks in deeper than any compliment ever could. It touches something ancient in her, this desire not to be adored blindly, but to be understood fully. So if you've ever met someone who moved you in a quiet, undeniable way, say it. Say, I've never met anyone like you, because in a world full of copies, recognizing someone's one-of-a-kind soul, that's intimacy. There's a kind of compliment that doesn't just touch the surface. It doesn't focus on what she looks like or what she does. It reaches deeper. It says, I've seen all of you, the light, the shadows, the scars, the stories you don't tell out loud. And then it adds something even more powerful. And I admire every detail. That is rare, because in a world that constantly asks us to filter ourselves, to polish, perform, perfect, being fully seen can feel terrifying. But it's also what we crave the most. This phrase, I see who you really are and admire every detail, isn't about putting someone on a pedestal. It's about looking at the whole picture, not just the curated parts. It's about noticing the way her voice changes when she talks about something she cares about. The way she gets quiet when she's hurt but doesn't want to burden anyone. The way she loves fiercely, even if she's been hurt before. It's telling her, I see your strength, but I also see your fear. I see your brilliance, but also the moments you doubt yourself. And all of that makes you more real to me, more worthy, not less. You're giving her something that even the most romantic words can't match. Emotional safety. And when someone feels truly safe to be who they are around you, walls come down. Connections deepen. And love, the real kind, has room to breathe. So don't be afraid to say it. Not when she's dressed up for a night out, but maybe when she's just being herself. In sweatpants, tired, raw, and honest. That's when it matters most. Say it with heart. Say it with presence. I see who you really are and admire every detail, because to be fully seen and still loved is one of the rarest gifts we can ever give or receive. Let's take a breath. You've just heard 7 phrases that might seem simple on the surface, but carry the weight of real connection. And here's the truth most people miss. It's not about the words. It's about where they come from. The tone in your voice, the pause before you speak, the look in your eyes when you say it, that's what makes the difference, because people, especially women, aren't just listening to what you say. They're listening to how you say it. They're reading your presence. They're asking silently, do you mean this? So if you use these phrases just to impress them, they'll fall flat. But if you speak them from a place of truth, of stillness, of genuine appreciation, you'll begin to notice something profound. They don't just change how she feels. They change who you become, because the moment you make someone feel deeply seen, not for what they give you, not for what they look like, but for who they are in their entirety, something in you softens. Something opens, and that's where real intimacy begins. Not in winning someone's attention, but in earning their trust, in showing up with presence, not performance. So whether you're building something new, trying to heal something old, or simply wanting to connect more meaningfully with the person beside you, start here, not with grand gestures, but with words that tell the truth, with moments of quiet recognition, with a heart that says, I see you and you matter. Because in the end, the real magic isn't in what you say. It's in how you make someone feel when you say it. And when you learn to do that with honesty, love doesn't have to be chased, it stays. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to feel a little more seen, a little more understood, and a little more connected to ourselves and to those who matter. If this message spoke to you, if something in your heart said, yes, this is what I've been needing, then you're already part of what we're building here. Stoic Heart Daily isn't just a channel, it's a space for stillness, for strength, and for stories that remind us what it means to live with clarity, courage, and compassion. So if you're ready to keep growing, to keep showing up for yourself with quiet discipline and deep presence, subscribe not for the numbers, not for the algorithm, but for the community, for the reminder that in a noisy world, peace is still possible, and you're not walking this path alone. Join Stoic Heart Daily. Let's grow, gently, honestly, together.